Just a reminder to vote in this week's Locals poll, where you decide what deck I take to Locals every single week. Without any further ado, I hope you enjoyed the video.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and for today we have the deck profile for the deck we took to Locals this past week, being Utopia. We ended up doing okay. We won against Live Twin Sprite, we lost a hero, and we should have won Game 3 against Speedroids, but unfortunately in a absolutely disgusting, gut-wrenching, unplayable hand, we basically just had to forfeit Game 3 because we couldn't do anything. And if you watch all the way to the end, I'll actually show you the hand that we drew. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But we're actually not going to do the screenshot for this, because the screenshot I have is actually different than what I actually have here. There's one card different. So I am going to fix that in the future, but this is the version we brought. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the monsters. So the first ones we're going to talk about, I'm actually just going to go ahead and talk about all these together, being the Zexal weapons, or rather the level 5 Zexal weapons. So we have Eagle Claw, Tornado Bringer, Lightning Blade, and then Pegasus Twin Saber. We each have each of these at 1. And so basically, Twin Saber, while equipped to a Utopia monster, can negate a monster effect on resolution. So that's really nice. Lightning Blade, oh, and it also gives it 1,000 attack for the Twin Saber. Lightning Blade gives it 1,200 attack, and then also protects your other ZWs from being destroyed by card effects. Tornado Bringer gives the equipped monster 1,300 attack, and then makes it to where it cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. Then Eagle Claw gives it 2,000 attack, and then negates a trap effect on resolution. So those are very nice utility Zexal weapons there. And then basically moving on to your main ways of summoning the Utopias so you can equip them. Gonna talk first about our 3 copies of ZS Ascended Sage. So Ascended Sage, basically if you control nothing, it can special summon itself from your hand. That does not start a chain. And then when used as Xyz material for Utopia, the summoned Utopia gets a bonus effect where you get to add a rank up magic normal spell from your deck to your hand. So that's really good for searching whatever rank up magic you want. Arm Sage functions very similarly. We're also running 3 of him. And so basically, if you only have another level 4 monster whose name is not Arm Sage, you can special summon it from your hand. And then it has a very similar search effect, but instead of a rank up magic, like the Ascended Sage, Arm Sage lets you grab any Zexal weapon that you want from the deck. So again, really good for searching, just being able to get whatever you want. I'm also so currently I'm running 2 copies of Astrotopia. I'm actually going to bump this up to 3. So I'm going to play 3 of this. But I'm only currently on 2 because I thought I had a 3rd one, but it turns out I didn't. But yeah, so we're going to change this to 3 copies, but for now we're running 2. So basically, if there's an Xyz monster on your side of the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. That actually does start a chain. And then you can send 1 other card from your hand or field to the graveyard as cost to add an Xyz, Onomate, Zexal, or Number, Spell, or Trap from your deck to your hand. So you can use this to search some of your other spells and traps. So that's really nice. Also currently running 2 copies of Goblinberg, because, you know, obviously this is a deck based off of Yuma from Zexal, and Goblinberg is a very classic Yuma card, so I just kind of had to, you know. And also, I mean, it special summons a level 4 straight from your hand, so, you know, why wouldn't you? Next, 2 copies of ZW Azura Strike, and I'll go ahead and also throw in the Sleipnir Mail. So they both give the equipped Utopia an extra 1,000 attack points. Then Azura Strike, it allows the equipped monster to attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Then Sleipnir Mail, when it's sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster was destroyed, you get to revive a Utopia monster from your graveyard. So that's really nice just for being able to try to bounce back so you don't die. You know, extra bodies. Next, running 3 copies of Astral Karibo. So with this little guy, you can reveal a number Xyz monster from your extra deck and special summon him from your hand, and then his level becomes the rank of the revealed monster. So by, you know, just revealing any of our number 39 Utopias, we can special summon him as a level 4. And then that's it for the monsters. So next, let's go on to the spells. And the first spell we're going to talk about is 3 copies of Zexal Construction. This is, of course, based off of the iconic scene from the duel against Vector, where he literally changes the card he draws from Rank Up Magic Limited Baryon's Force to Rank Up Magic Numeron Force, much to Vector's dismay. But basically, you reveal a card in your hand, and if you do, add one of the following cards from your deck to your hand, then shuffle the revealed card into the deck. So basically, you reveal one for cost, and then if it resolves, then you add that and then shuffle. So don't let someone try to trick you with an Ash where it's like, oh no, you have to shuffle it. No, it shuffles on resolution. The add and the shuffle happen simultaneously. So you get to search for a ZW monster, a ZS monster, a Zexal Speller Trap, a rank up magic, or a rank down magic. So again, lots of searching to be able to get to whatever you want for the situation. Very, very nice. I'm also running 2 copies of Zexal Entrust. Basically, this is primarily used as a monster reborn for a Utopia monster. You can add something back to your hand, like say a Zexal weapon or a ZS monster, but typically you can also use it for just like reborning the OG Utopia to use a rank up magic on. Next, I'm also running 2 copies of Zexal Field. So this basically makes it to where your opponent can't respond to effects that target an Xyz monster you control. So like say one of your Zexal weapons targeting a Utopia or a rank up magic targeting your Utopia, they can't respond as long as this is on the field. And then you can also go ahead and like when you summon an Xyz monster, you can target it and then attach a monster from your extra deck or graveyard to it as material, or specifically attach another Xyz monster. Next, running 2 copies of Xyz Change Tactics. So I'm only running 2 of this because you don't want to see it like all the time, because you can only control one of it. But so basically, when a Utopia monster is Xyz summoned, you can pay 500 life points to draw 1 card, and that is not once per turn. So you can, as long as you can keep Xyz summoning, you can keep drawing. So lots of drawing, lots of searching. But again, you can only control 1, so I'm running 2 because I feel like 3 would make me open multiple more often than I would want. Next, I'm actually running 2 copies of Double or Nothing, and I'll tell you why. Because obviously, you know, you don't want to open the Double or Nothing. But inevitably, it's going to happen every now and again, right? So if I only have 1 and I draw it, Utopia Double is useless then. Unless I specifically have Zexal Construction to shuffle it away. But so I like to have 2 as a backup. That way, even if I open with 1, Utopia Double is still live at all times. And then rounding out the kind of more of like the generic E kind of cards. 1 Reinforcement of the Army, because most of the monsters that I talked about before are warriors, so being able to do even more searching is always great. So next we're going to go on to the rank up magics. So I'm currently running 3 copies of rank up magic Zexal Force, but I'm actually going to bump this down to 2 because earlier I said I was going to run 3 Astrotopia. This 3rd Zexal Force is going to become that 3rd Astrotopia. And so basically you get to target an Xyz monster you control. You get to special summon a Utopia or ZW monster that is a rank higher than that, and then you can place a ZW or ZS on top of your deck. That, of course, can help with the Xyz Change Tactics, so you can get whatever you want. And then it does have a bonus effect where if your life points are at least 2,000 less than your opponent, you can banish this to draw 1 card. And yeah, I mean it's not a bad card by any means, but I'm just gonna bump it down to 2 for the sake of having more copies of Astrotopia in circulation. For the other rank up magics, running 1 Numeron Force, 1 Hyper rank up magic Utopia Force, and 1 Astral Force. So Astral Force, this allows you to go into Utopia Beyond. Hyper rank up magic Utopia Force, this is how you get to your number 99, and then it can attach itself to a rank 5 or higher Xyz monster when it's summoned to your field. Numeron Force, basically it functions where you go from a number to a number C, that's 1 rank higher, and then it also just blanket negates everything else on the field. So if your opponent has problematic like monster effects or spell trap effects, maybe like a floodgate or something, then you can just use this and then all that's negated. Now it does also negate your stuff, so if you have other monsters on the field, it negates them as well, but at that point it shouldn't really matter. And then finally, moving on to the trap cards, there are 2 of them. 1 Zexal Alliance and 1 Halfway to Forever. So basically, this allows us to pay life points to where we only have 10 left, special summon a Utopia from our graveyard, stack our deck with any card we want. The special summon monster's attack gets doubled, and it can only be destroyed by battle with a number monster, and it can't be destroyed by card effects. So it's a really steep investment, but you get rewarded for it. But I'm only running 1 because we don't really have a way of doing this more than once. Then Halfway to Forever, we target 2 monsters in our graveyard, special summon them, and then immediately after this effect resolves, special summon a light Utopia or Utopic Xyz monster using only those 2 monsters. So again, just more ways to kind of get to your Xyz monsters in a pinch. Alright, and then that's it for the main deck, so let's go on to the extra deck. And so for the extra deck, I'm running 1 Utopia double. So basically, as a quick effect, you attach material from this card, add double or nothing from your deck to your hand, and then special summon a Utopia Xyz monster using this as material. And its attack becomes doubled, but with the drawback of it can't attack directly. But so, the whole thing is to go this into the original, then you attack it with a 5,000 Utopia, detach to negate the attack, double or nothing, boom, hit your opponent with a 10,000 attack Utopia. That's kind of the idea. 1 Utopic Sage. This one is mainly for a Zexal field target, so I can attach it to one of my monsters and then detach it, because it has a graveyard effect where you can banish it to protect your Utopias from being destroyed. So I like to do that. I usually don't summon it. Next, 3 copies of the OG number 39 Utopia. Enough said. I'm also going 1 Prime and 1 Lightning, of course. So the Prime, we don't really use its effect because the cost and the conditions to meet the effect are insanely high. Lightning, so basically we just slap this on top of the Prime, and then when it battles, your opponent can't activate anything until the end of the damage step, and then during damage calculation, you can detach 2 materials to make this card's attack become 5,000. So just a really big beat stick that is really tough to out by battle, so that's really nice. Next, going to our ultimates. So I'm running 1 Leo and 1 Dragonic. So which one you want to use kind of depends on what you have in your hand and then if you're going first or second. Typically, if I'm going first, I like to go with Leo, because I can detach a material to equip the Pegasus Twin Saber from the deck, and then I have 2 monster negates right there. So that's what I like to do if I'm going first. I like to use Dragonic if I'm going second, because when basically if you target it with an effect like, say, a Zexal weapon, or it can also be your opponent's effect, or if your opponent even targets this for an attack, you get to just equip a Zexal weapon straight from your deck. So this guy can easily get really, really big and can get lots of effects with the Zexal weapons, so that's nice to kind of have that utility. I've got Utopia Ray V and Utopia Ray Victory, some of our OG upgrades to Utopia. So Ray V is good for, like, if you're running low on time, you can hit for burn damage. That's basically what that's for. Utopia Ray Victory, if your opponent has, like, battle traps and you know they do, you can go into Utopia Ray Victory, because if it attacks, your opponent can activate any spell or trap cards till the end of the damage step. And then it can also make itself gain attack equal to the opponent's monster's attack, so it'll take 2,800 damage, assuming it's not equipped with any sort of Zexal weapon. So yeah, just kind of more utility effects there. Next, 1ZW Leo Arms. This one, it gains 3,000 attack. It can also search a Zexal weapon before you equip it to the Utopia to give it that 3k attack, and then you can send this equip card to the graveyard to allow it to attack again. But usually I like to use this for the attack gain, so yeah, that's always really fun. Just to watch their faces just be like, what the heck? Next, it's probably my favorite of the Utopia monsters, being number 39, Utopia Beyond. It's also really nice to bring this out with Dragonar on your opponent's turn, because, it's treated as a proper Xyz summon. And so, when this is Xyz summon, it just drops all your opponent's monsters' attack to 0. So yeah, and one of my favorite combos, actually, is to summon this during my turn, and then equip it with the Azura Strike, Azura Strike. Because then it's 4,000 attack, and all your opponent's monsters are 0 attack, and you can just boom, boom, 8,000 damage. This is actually how I ended Game 2 against Life Twin Sprite, so I actually got to use my favorite combo. I mean, is it the best one? No. But is it cool? Yeah. Alright, and then I'm going to talk about the next two together, being our number 99s. So we have Utopic Dragon and Utopia Dragonar. So, Utopic Dragon, basically, it does have an alternate summoning condition where you can use a Utopia and discard a rank up magic to just slap this on top of it. But usually, we're actually going to bring it out with the Dragonar if we are either A, able to, or B, want to. It just kind of depends on what's in our hand, because if we have a rank up magic in our hand, we can Dragonar into Dragon revive the Utopia, and then use the rank up magic on the Utopia to go into, like, say, Leo. But anyways, and then it actually also provides a monster negate for something that targets himself, so that's really nice. Being able to potentially have 3 potential monster negates is really nice. And then finally, Utopia Dragonar. As a quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from this card. And that's actually why the Zexal Field is so important, because you can attach the Utopic Sage to him as material, so then he has 4 materials, so you can do it twice. But anyway, so you detach 2, special summon a number Xyz monster from your extra deck, and it's treated as a proper Xyz summon. Only thing is, if you activate it during your turn, he's the only thing that can attack directly, and then you're locked into Xyz monsters, but obviously for this deck that's not going to be a problem. And then he does have another effect where when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can just drop that opponent's monster's attack down to 0. So, yeah. It's really easy to punish with Dragonar, because a lot of times they forget that effect exists. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's actually it for the deck profile. I do hope that you enjoyed. It's a fun little deck. Obviously, we should have done better, but, we just bricked that one game against Speedroid, and so that led to us getting 5th place instead of 3rd. So, unfortunate, but hey, better luck next time. And speaking of which, because I did mention, if you guys watched till the end of the video, you'd be able to see the hand that we had in that Game 3 that just was absolutely disgusting. Here is, these aren't in the same order, but this is what we drew. We had that, 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 and that. And now keep in mind, I was going first. And a lot of times people will be like, why do you want to go first with Utopia? Because it's kind of an OTK deck. And that is true. But I typically like to go first because that way I can set up, you know, like Dragonar plus Leo. That's 2 monster negates right there. Or if I have the resources, I can end on Dragonar plus Dragon plus Leo. Or alternatively, if I don't have rank up magic and I still want to have the extra body, I can go for lightning. But ideally, it'd be this right here. So that's, you know, a negate because he's equipped with his Zexal weapon, a negate from the Zexal weapon, and a targeting negate. So that's why I typically like to go first, because I want to try to set that up. But unfortunately, we weren't able to get top 4 this time. But next time, I think we can get it. Because we were so close this time. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe on the locals poll, all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time.